Previously, in the dungeon of the Mad Mage, the party left Willow of the Wood's company, stepping out to see for the first time the Willowwood in daylight, blue, cloudless skies, and a forest full of life. Their presence had brought change to the wood, but their presence was needed elsewhere. They headed swiftly to the ruins where they activated one of the magic gates, intent on heading up to the second level. Moss-covered rock near a stream left to await them on the 6th level, still unwilling to travel the paths of shadow.
See you later, King.
As the party stepped through the silvery gate, they found themselves held stationary, not flowing forward into the tunnels of shadow. The familiar feminine voice found them, spoke to them about their bravery, their growing power, and once again asked them what they sought, why they continued forging ever downwards. There were disparate answers, but answers that were close enough to work together, at least for now. The presence seemed to want to help, and began telling the party the history of the Undermountain, weaving a tale of the elves of Illifarn and the city of Aelin Thaldar. How, when they had left, they had wiped all traces of their existence from the world, even going so far as to burn into the weave itself, and thus the creation of the Tear, the place the shadow seeps from. The voice spoke of Halaster and his 7, how they had arrived so long ago, and how Halaster, now Halaster, had tried to bind that shadow. But that was where the voice's story ended. Something else came, shunted the voice away, and the party was released, once again flowing through the passages of magic. The shadow struck out at them again, but this time, with Willow's blessing to protect them, Ezrah was shielded against the darkness. The party was deposited outside of the gate on the 2nd floor. Suddenly with a new member, a goblin that apparated and seemed to only listen to Ezrah. They had arrived in an outpost of the tall goblins, and in the next few moments found themselves facing down some startled owl bears. The party showed restraint in diffusing the situation, but one of the goblins had beef with the party from past experiences, and unfortunately had to be dealt with. Afterwards, the party ventured down to the Sargoth level, where they met with the Skulltakers. The goblin band had not been idle in the party's absence, describing the events of battles with Grimlocks and toothy demons, as well as a cooking competition. It was clear the Skulltakers were growing stronger, but Bones needed them stronger still if they were to venture down to the 6th level. The party headed to Azrok's hold, intent on returning the dagger and on asking the Legion to train the Skulltakers. It was an easy journey, the Legion having reestablished itself in the area. But on the way, was it Ezrah? I believe it was Ezrah, was contacted by one Gurgle Brine.
Yep.
The previous lead sister of the Sea Hag Coven, of the Sargoth Coven. She spoke about how Olive, the new leader of the Coven, was going mad, wild with power, doing strange things. Gurgle feared the worst, and she wanted to speak to one of their cousins, an individual that she thought could help. Wormriddle. Unfortunately, Gurgle could not make contact, not successfully, with Wormriddle, so she asked the party to find this individual. And when asked where, he told them Dwemercore.
Eventually, sure.
One day we will find.
But not this day.
Yeah,
The
probably
party-
in about 6 days, if I had to guess, based on our current 6 in-game days.
6
3
days?
or 4.
That's
Three or
that's not
four,
bad.
Probably
Three or 4 months.
3 to 7 years.
I'd say
real
closer to
time.
6 months.
No,
It'll probably
No.
be 2022 by the time we do that.
that's optimistic.
The party continued on their way to Azrok's hold, and there they met with Lurkana, showing her the dagger, and then they were taken to Azrok's throne room, welcomed, hailed by Azrok directly. What happened next was somewhat unexpected. Azrok, given sight once more, was a changed being. His entire demeanor turned from quiet, brooding champion to one of decisive leadership. He rose, immediately addressed his legionnaires, and then executed a nearby goblin, only to have an intellect devourer leap from the skull of the goblin, which was immediately slain by his assembled warriors. After issuing a series of orders, Azrok explained the Xanathar had been taking advantage of Azrok's weakness, taking the opportunity to infiltrate the Legion, but now that would be swiftly dealt with. However, Azrok knew that battle with the Xanathar would come soon, but he needed more time in order to prepare. His ailment had left the Legion in a bad place. For now, the Legion still needed to seem like they were cooperative with the Xanathar. But Azrok wanted to send a message. He asked that the party escort and assassinate Ulquis, the Mind Flayer ambassador of the Xanathar. The party agreed, and Azrok made them honorary members of the Legion. Shortly afterwards, the party traveled outside the boundaries of Azrok's hold with Ulquis. The Mind Flayer and his entourage seemed well aware of the impending battle. There didn't seem to be any secret going on here. But Ulquis vastly underestimated the party and was swiftly and succinctly defeated and slain. Not, however, before Ashes was rendered comatose by an intellect devourer. Fortunately,
Oh, shit, I forgot about that.
Fortunately, the Legion had prepared for this, and Prita Kripa was able to administer a potion to Ashes to restore some of his mind. Rested,
Sludge.
somewhat restored, the party had completed their mission for the Legion. But it was at this point that Lurkana took them aside once more to share with them some news. Her son, Ezrah Cog, had returned to Undermountain. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.